Now let's talk about the functions for searching strings. The first function we're going to talk about is find, and with this we can find the position of the first occurrence of some content in this string. So if we call this and pass a lowercase a, this will return the position of this a over here. So if we print this, we're going to see 6. Now we can optionally provide a second argument here as our starting position. So if we pass 7, our search is going to start from here, and this will return the position of the next a over here. So take a look. Now we get 10. Now, just like all string operations, this function is case sensitive. So if we pass an uppercase A, we're not going to find it. So let me remove the second argument and see what we get. We get this really large value, which is equivalent to -1. Let me explain why. So if you hover our mouse over this function, we can see its signature. We can see it returns a size type value, which is an alias for size t. So earlier we talked about size t. I told you that this is an alias for unsigned int or unsigned long, depending on the compiler. So if we have a variable of type size t, we cannot store a negative value in it because it's an unsigned type. So in this case, our variable is going to underflow. So this value is going to be converted to the largest value we can store in this type. So if we print this, then we see the same value that we got when looking for the capital A in our string. So to check to see if our string contains some content, we can write an if statement like this. We can say if name.find, let's say capital A, equals -1. That means we don't have a capital A in this string. So we can say doesn't exist. Now, there you go. Okay. Now we can also call this function and look for a particular string. So instead of a single character, we can pass a string like ham. This will return the position of the first occurrence of ham in this string. Now when we run this program, we don't see that message because obviously this string exists in our name. Okay. So this is the find method. Now we have another function called rfind, which is short for reverse find. It works exactly like the find function or find method, but starts the search from the end. So if we call this and look for a lowercase a, we get the position of the last a in this string. Now, another useful function is find first of. With this, we can pass a string and look for the first occurrence of any of these characters like comma, period, and semicolon. Now, we don't have any of these in this string, so we're going to get -1, right? But if we add a comma here, this will return the first position of this comma, which is 4. We can also use a semicolon. We get the same result. So the beautiful thing about this function is that we can pass a string, and this will return the position of the first occurrence of any of these characters. Okay. Now, similarly, we have another function called find last of, which is similar to rfind. So it's going to find the last occurrence of any of these characters. Okay. Now, 2 more functions we have, which are not used that often, but it's good to know. One of them is find first not of. So it will return the position of the first occurrence of a character that is not any of these characters. In this case, the first character that we have that is not any of these characters is capital M. So when we call this, we get 0, right? Again, we have another function called find last not of, which returns the last position of a character that is not any of these. In this case, that's going to be I. So when we run this, we get 13. Again, you don't have to memorize any of these. I just want you to become familiar with these functions and see what features are at your disposal.